This is the Smoked Debrief. Light up, lock in, and let's get to it.
Right on, right on. Ah. Okay. Live from your mom's basement, it is the Smoked Debrief.
Only Jim would have a Humvee in his mom's basement. I mean, that's all I got to say about that.
It's your mom's basement.
My basement would look more like my basement would look more like a serial killer's basement. I'd be like an episode of Criminal Minds, just waiting for the cops to break down the garage door. You know what I mean?
I've seen that episode. You're out on work or
That's right, man.
All right.
What do you got for us this week, buddy?
We have an EP Carrillo Allegiance.
It's probably Carrillo. But,
Carrillo, whatever.
Jim being,
I know how to say smoke.
Thank God. Go ahead, tell us about it.
Well, it is Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler, and an Ecuadorian wrapper.
And you were telling me that you like Ecuadorian wrappers for some reason? I didn't even know people in
gravitated.
Ecuador. I didn't even know people in Ecuador wrapped. I didn't know there were any
didn't either.
Ecuadorian wrappers.
Isn't that where Fat Joe's from?
Oh, maybe it is. What do you like about Ecuadorian wrappers?
I don't really.
You don't even know, do you?
No.
You just like saying Ecuadorian.
Yeah, it sounds so fancy. I can't get the little. Are you just supposed to light the green part?
No, you are not supposed to light
Well,
the
then
green.
they should make it easier to pull off.
I don't even know if Jim really smokes cigars.
I don't. I think I'm going to go with a V cut on this one.
Well, that's the only way to go as far as I'm concerned. I mean, unless you're a puncher. I have a buddy that works at a cigar shop in Atlanta, Manny. It's to Mathis. If you're ever in Atlanta, go to Scottish Tobacco and you'll meet the angriest man in the cigar industry. He's not really angry. He has no patience. And, but he knows more about cigars than anybody I've ever met. So a shout out to you, Manny, there at Scottish Tobacco. Oh, and Manny, I'll be seeing you at PCA this year in New Orleans. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, since New Orleans is not like Vegas, not a very smoke-friendly city. We'll see how they pull that off.
PCA.
Where?
What is it?
It's the cigar convention every year where all the manufacturers go. And
What does that stand for, though? PCA.
Professional Cigar Association.
It's like, so what qualifies one to be a professional?
You have to own a cigar manufacturer.
Are you a cigar manufacturer?
But my boys at Warfighter,
Oh, okay.
who I am intimately a part of, is their worldwide ambassador of Warfighter cigars.
Okay.
So I'll go and I'll hang out at the booth and I'll talk to customers and I'll try to see Carlito Fuente, who is the godfather of the Opus X.
See.
And so it's a great place to go to see all the different manufacturers, the new cigars they're coming out with. It's where theoretically all of the cigar shop owners come to place a big order for the year. Cigar manufacturers unveil their new cigars. I'm sure the Warfighter boys will be unveiling their new labels and everything. But this is starting off great.
Yeah.
It really is starting off great.
You talk about Vegas. That's where I started my interest in cigars. Was my first Las Vegas visit.
And what was that? When was that?
That was in probably 1998, 97, 98 was when I went to Vegas and actually we smoked. And
You remember where you went?
we were at we went, I think at that time there was a Davidoff in the Venetian. And we just went in there and grabbed a couple of cigars. I don't remember what they were.
Wasn't a smoking lounge though, right? It was just They were just selling cigars.
It was a
Kiosk?
Davidoff.
Oh, it was.
No, it was a store.
Okay.
Um,
On in the by the canals.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not in the Venetian, in the canal area,
Yeah.
Venetian Canal area. Yeah.
So we went in there, and then we went.
It was right by the big plaza.
I planned on going to the cigar bar in at Caesars, at the mall.
That is Fuente's place.
So, yeah, that's
Casa
so
Fuente.
nice. Yeah, we had some absinthe there at the bar. and
Yeah,
smoked
great
some
bar.
cigars. Yeah, it was great.
I don't think you can smoke there anymore, or you just have to smoke inside that little bar area. It used to be you could smoke on the porch.
That we smoked cigars, and we were at the roulette table at the Venetian, and the kid that worked for me. I mean, we're there just puffing away.
Were you at a stereo convention?
It was Consumer Electronics.
Oh,
Convention.
CES, yeah.
So we're sitting there, and of course, there's other people around. This old man, it wasn't really old, maybe 40,
A jackass.
and comes in there. He's got his lady with him, and they're standing there, and we're just, I mean, we're doing well. I mean, we were betting and winning, and we were just puffing away. And this guy looks, and he does this. You know how they're like,
Oh yeah.
you know, and
Find
this
another
old
table.
lady does the same.
Find
thing.
another table, pal.
Yeah, and he looks over and he said,
And you
Are
were there
you-
first?
"Huh?
Were you there first?
Oh yeah." And he looks over and he says, "Are you even allowed to smoke those in here?" And I just went, "This is Vegas, sir. I can do whatever I want." And he looked at the dealer that was running the wheel, and the dealer said, "It's Vegas. He can do whatever he wants." The guy's like, he huffed and puffed and walked away, and we just kept puffing on our stogies.
People are funny about cigar smoking, aren't they?
Yeah.
You can go in the old days, you could go into a bar, there'd be 40 people smoking cigarettes in there.
Yeah.
Cancer, frickin' chemicals all up in the air, and you pull out a cigar and light it, and they would act like you climbed up on the bar and took a dump.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
I remember before they did the statewide ban, you could go into a restaurant, you know, they were doing the smoking, non-smoking section, and you go into the restaurant, and certain restaurants, they had like plexiglass
Yeah.
dividing the smoking and non-smoking, and it would look like you were just looking at a cloud of smoke.
Dude, I flew to Egypt a couple of times because I did that documentary 3 times, I think. On Egypt Air, this is in 1995, 96, 97, you could still smoke on airplanes. And for sure you could smoke on Egypt Air. But it was smoking, the left side of the plane was smoking, the right side of the plane was non-smoking.
Was it leaning? Did it kind of lean this way a little bit?
Oh, it was so crazy. I mean, think about that. We used to smoke in freaking airplanes. Did you meet Eric Tansey?
Who's that?
He played a cop in Office Joe. Oh, you've seen
No,
the show.
I've seen the show, yeah.
He plays the cop
Okay.
that comes into the office, you know, you've been found guilty in the court. What court? The court of public opinion. Anyway, I did a promo for his new book. He's got a book coming out called Pig Latin.
Mm. I saw Nick posted about that.
Bro,
Is it good?
it is one of the funniest things I've ever read in my entire life.
Pig Latin.
Pig Latin. And we had the podcast, you know, what was it freaking called? Neutral Position with Nick
Neutral
Palmisano. And Eric was on that podcast. He is a freaking storyteller, buddy.
Maybe does he smoke cigars?
Well, we'll make him. We'll bring him on the
Yes,
show,
we'll
make
bring
him
him
smoke
on.
cigars.
We'll hotbox him. We'll
will.
have a special episode, hotboxing.
Hotbox it. Yeah.
We just
And then we'll hotbox Dan and bring Dan on
Yeah.
to talk about Office Joe. But anyway, so we brought his mom in, and on Tuesday, and we had his mom read some excerpts from his book, and his mom is just a sweet little old lady, and she's reading the story where he goes to arrest this woman. She weighs about 340 pounds. She pulls her dress off. She's butt naked, and she turns around and she tries to poo on him. And he's telling this story, and his mom's reading this for an internet promo, bro.
Oh wait, so he's a cop.
He's a cop.
Big
Latin.
See,
Oh,
now
you get it.
makes sense.
Oh,
Wow.
Jim.
Okay.
Jim's a little bit slow, folks, and
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. But so tell them what you made me do last week.
I didn't make you do anything.
Yes, you did. Tell them.
Someone said they wanted to find
What did I
a
really
Range
say?
Rover.
What did I really say?
You said you wanted to find a Range Rover for $5,000.
And you thought I was crazy, right? Admit it.
Oh my Lord. But there were some out there. I thought it was nuts until we started looking.
But what did I say before I said I wanted a Range Rover?
All you had was $5,000.
And I've been wanting one for how long?
Oh, I don't recall that.
Forever. And why hadn't I got one?
I don't know.
Because I knew that they were
Expensive as shit.
and gonna break down.
Yeah, and breakdown.
The worst electrical mechanical car ever made. And so what happened? You bastard.
We found one for $5,000.
And did it look like shit?
It had, for its age, it was '09. It had some paint fade, but the interior, everything looked fine.
Right? I was blown
nothing-
away.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then you did your homework, got your VIN report, so you knew a little history of the vehicle. And went in and
We went for a drive in it.
yeah, and
Drove it fast on the freeway. Drove it with the AC on. Didn't overheat. But you do know that, like, yesterday the check engine light came on.
really,
Yeah.
we could put the scanner on it.
Can we?
Yeah.
I've enjoyed 4 beautiful maintenance-free days so far.
We can reset it. I'll give you another couple days.
Oh, but we go to register it.
Oh.
Fuck. Everything that Jim and I does, there's some kind of
Oh, my
ridiculous
Lord.
story or insanity to it. So we're standing in line at the frickin' DMV, and this fella walks away from the line and goes to sit down in the chairs up against the wall, and he misses the chair and goes to the floor. Couple people
Smack
rush
his head.
over, pull him up, and instead of sitting him back down in the seat like they should have,
Oh no, I'm the one that was trying to get him. In
I
the
know
seat.
you were, I know you were.
He said, I'm all right. And then as soon as I stepped back,
He went down
bam,
again.
he planked again. And that was when the other guys ran over and said, stay right where you're at. And Hollywood called 911. And what's funny is, they're like, what's the address? It's the DMV.
Yeah,
Everybody knows where the DMV's at. Oh, my Lord.
But I first dialed 999. You know why?
Because you thought you were in the UK?
Because I've been watching all those frickin' BritBox shows where they dial 999, and I dialed 999, and I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, I literally watched.
What's your emergency, sir?
I literally watch 10 episodes of BritBox a day.
That's a good app.
And I felt this pain, man. You get lightheaded when you get older. From not drinking enough fucking water.
Well, then the EMTs get there,
I was worried about the
looking at
EMT guy's health.
and that one lady said that the guy was having a stroke, and I'm like, what? What the hell? And then he said,
She said, I think he's having a stroke. That's what she said.
well, the the EMTs are trying to get him to go to the hospital. And they were like, we can't make you go if you don't want to go. And he said, I want to see this process through.
He was trying to register a car.
Nobody wants to go back to the DMV.
That's true. That's true. That was a wild time. And then we tried to put the license plate on. Screw holes wouldn't fit. So we had to come back to Jim's Salvage and Auto Repair here, where we're having the show today. And he ground up the front plate holder, and
we adapted
and overcame and managed to get it fit.
And okay, it's still on there today.
I can see why this is the number 5 cigar.
I can too. It's really good.
It's really.
I think I'm out smoking you.
Which never happens.
I know it.
Wow.
So you were on the plane to Egypt.
It is chocolatey.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah, I was on the plane to Egypt.
What was the project you were working on?
When I got into the movie business, I did this movie in Dallas. And it was called Space Marines.
Did it have Casper Van Diem in it?
No, but it had another young, handsome, buff kid.
Jim Young?
No. Oh. Look up Space Marines on your phone and see it. And it had John Piper Ferguson. Now, John Piper Ferguson has become a very big Canadian actor.
Never heard of her.
He was in Unforgiven.
Okay.
He played the scared deputy in Unforgiven.
Mm.
He was in L.A.
Space Marines?
Yeah. 1994 or 5. He was also...
There's a Space Marines too.
Probably. After that show, the director of photography, the guy that shot Space Marines, Garrett Griffin.
Yeah.
He called me up and said, hey, man, we're going to Egypt for a year and a half. You want to come? And I'm like, fuck yeah. So we went to Egypt and shot a documentary. We were with a bunch of scientists who did radar, sonar, and seismic testing around the Sphinx. We went to Karnak, Luxor, Upper Egypt, Lower Egypt, Abu Simbel. And they were doing all these radar and sonar and seismic testing around these monuments.
Billy Worth.
Katie
Huffman.
Katie Huffman.
She spells her name with a C.
Yeah, like
it's
cicada.
Weird. It's weird. There's John Piper Ferguson.
Yeah. Who was there's a handsome guy.
Eddie Albert was in it too.
Eddie Albert played the commander. And he was a wuss. He played the wuss commander. It was in cahoots with the space pirates, I think. John Piper Ferguson played this head space pirate. So here's a crazy story. John and I, Braveheart comes out.
Yeah.
While we're filming the movie. So on a Thursday night, like at 10 o'clock, he and I go to see Braveheart. And we're watching it and blah, blah, blah. And, and it's over. Great movie, right? Braveheart, great movie. So we're all excited and shit. And we pull back to this gas station and we start filling up the car with gas. And these 2 girls pull up next to us and they get out and they start talking to us and they're kind of flirting with us. John and I are so excited about the movie and talking to them about the movie and how great the movie was. We don't realize that they're hookers.
You just thought you were doing really well.
We're just, because the movie was great and we're just chatting. I mean, we're movie guys. So we're just chatting it up and we're like, blah, 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 and yada, yada. And like, well, maybe you guys are like a date. And we're like, well, yeah, we usually get off at like 8 or 9 o'clock and we'll give you our number. You guys can call us up. This is maybe right at cell phones. 95, was that right at cell? No. Yes.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah. And blah, 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 blah. And then this cop car pulls up. And Sean and I are looking at each other going, what the fuck? The cops goes, what are you guys doing? And we're filling up. We're totally oblivious. We're like filling up with gas. Are you sure you guys aren't trying to solicit prostitution? And John and I are like, what the fuck are you talking about? We didn't say, like, we just looked at him like, what? And the girls start laughing. And the cop goes, what's going on? Rebecca or whatever her fuck one of them's fucking name was. He goes, you know, Steve,
the happy
Steve,
hooker.
these guys, they were
Xavier
vice officers.
Hollander.
They were vice officers, the girls.
Oh, God.
It was a prostitution sting.
Oh, my Lord.
And the girl goes, just go on. He goes, well, and they start laughing. The girls start laughing, and we're just now getting it, me and John. And the cop's like, what's going on? He goes, we spent the last 5 minutes talking about this movie that these guys just saw called Braveheart. They had no interest in us at all. They just wanted to tell us how great this movie was.
So you guys, it was like Dudley Moore from Arthur.
Yeah.
You're a hooker? I just thought I was doing well.
Hobson. And they just laughed. And as they started to walk away, I said, can we get your numbers? And the cop turned around and goes, stop it. And got in his car. Oh my gosh. But so I went to Egypt, and the scientists that were doing all these testing, they said they were looking for faults and possible earthquake areas, and it was bullshit. They were looking for tombs and for chambers and
riches.
I mean, we spent like 3 months inside the Sphinx enclosure, radar, sonar, and seismic testing the whole time. So we were at, my buddy Terry Pratt and I, you can only film scientists doing that shit so much, you know? So we'd go off, during the day and do some exploring. He and I, there's a causeway between the Sphinx and the middle pyramid, Khufu. Khufu is the Great Pyramid. And underneath, a causeway, like a road. But there was a little tunnel dug underneath it. You could walk, so you didn't have to go up, because the causeway was like 15 feet high.
Yeah.
So you could walk to the other side. And we walked through that a couple of times, and we noticed that there was a shaft off to the right, underneath the causeway. So he and I, we were young and muscular and energetic in that day. So he and I got some rappelling ropes, and we rappelled down. It went down about 40 feet. We found like 6 sarcophagus down there, and a bunch of it looked like where torches had burnt the ceilings, and then there was another shaft that went down about another 60 feet. So we tied off. We went down that. We had flashlights, and we're looking around, and we found some really weird looking things. Like it looked like
beetles crawling around everywhere.
No scarabs. Good call though. But it looked like there had been 4 pillars down there, and there was a U-shaped water, like a U-shaped water thing full of water that had a.
So it was an ancient Egyptian shitter. That's what you found. Oh, I knew it was going to happen.
I always do it. This is a great cigar.
It is. I really like it.
So he and I went back up, and all over the Giza Plateau, where the pyramids are, there is a white cable about this big around, because they have 220 over there for electricity. So all they do when they need a light is they strip away the insulation, take 2 alligator clamps, clamp onto the power, and hang a light bulb.
Yeah.
So he and I got a couple of light bulb fixtures and light bulbs, got like 150 feet of that cable. We stripped a wire up at the top, at the surface, tied in with our little clips, took the lights down below. We're cleaning off this area to put the tripod so we could do some shooting, because now we could see. And when we cleaned off the frickin' place for a tripod, we were on top of the sarcophagus. This is no joke. I got photos and everything to prove it. So we had guides that were with us, Mr. Muhammad from the Department of Antiquities. He was a nice little guy, but he was supposed to be watching after us. Well, he couldn't find us, because we were spending like 6 hours down there, right? And next morning, Terry and I are heading over there, and he's like, I will come with you. And we're like, okay, sure, no problem. So we go down there, and but we brought Dr. Delbecchi, he had the ground penetrating radar. So he brought that, and we took that down with us this time. And we're down there and Dr. Delbecchi's got the ground penetrating radar thing. He's going over that sarcophagus, and we're looking at the results, and it prints out on a printer. But that's back at the hotel, so we have to take that back. So we go back to the hotel that night, and it looks like there's stairs underneath that sarcophagus. And there's always been the story that there's a passageway from the Sphinx to the Middle Pyramid. And the next morning, we gather up at the hotel, the Movenpick, Giza Plateau. We get in our little Range Rover. Yeah, that's where I first developed my love for Range Rovers. And we get to Giza Plateau, and Dr. Zahi Hawass, who was the Minister of Antiquities, a well-known stealer of antiquities as well, is waiting for us. And he goes, "You cannot go down into the place again. It's off limits." We're like, okay, I guess we can't go down to that place again. You can go everywhere else, he said, so we continued doing our, I have a picture. We climbed, Jim, to the top of the Great Pyramid. Did a time lapse. We took a doorway dolly that folded in half and 40 feet of dolly track in 4-foot sections in a bag about this big. Up to the top, we did a dolly shot on top of the Great Pyramid. I'll have to send you that. It's ridiculous, the photo is. But 4 years later, on CBS or ABC, live from the Giza Plateau, the discovery of Osiris's tomb, Dr. Hawass and frickin' Maury Povich.
You are not the father.
Excavated that place we found. They go down there. They acted like they had just discovered it. We're going down the shaft now. Unsure what. I mean, it was ridiculous. And somebody called me on the phone. Oh, it was Terry, I guess. "Bro, turn on the news." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Turn on the news." And I turn on the news. He goes, I'm like, "Holy shit. We found that 4 years ago. That's old news." But Egypt, man. Egypt is the greatest, most mystical place on the planet. I'm not into all that,
Aliens.
But there's definitely some shit going on in Egypt. I had a couple of no shit out of body experiences there, where I was one place and I found myself like 100 feet away looking at myself. And I don't believe any of that shit, but it definitely happened.
What were you drinking at the time?
That's right.
We're smoking?
Pisco sours.
Peyote?
No peyote. But that's funny. But I mean, really, we'd be in a place, Jim, down in a temple or in a tomb, and we'd be filming, and the camera would stop running. So we changed batteries, plug another battery in, because we were shooting on 16 mil. That's the film days. Camera wouldn't run. Come back up to the surface or whatever, and because we always had batteries charging off the battery of the car, the lighter thing, and we get fresh batteries, turn the camera on up there, worked great. We get back down there, the camera stopped working. I mean, that happened like 10 times. We spent the night in the Great Pyramid.
Screw that.
We spent the night in the Great Pyramid. We had a sound engineer with us, and he had these giant speakers set up, and he was doing different frequencies. Frequencies you couldn't hear, but you could feel.
Yeah.
To see if the secret chamber would open up. And Terry, you got your bro with you, so everything was funny to us. We're like, who do you think is going to die first when the whole thing collapses on us? And above the King's Chamber, the Great Pyramid, like 40 feet up, you come in the Great Pyramid, you walk around through this place that's been cut in, and then you come to the Grand Gallery, and the Grand Gallery is like 40 feet wide, maybe 100 feet high, and you go up the stairs they've built, and then you go into the King's Chamber. But just before you went into the King's Chamber, like 40 feet up, someone had dug another hole into the rock. So we had Mr. Muhammad had guys build us a ladder. And we climbed up that fucking ladder, and where that hole was, there was a passageway about 40 feet down, and you crawl, and the passageway was this big around you. And you crawled in that passageway, and then you got to an area, and off to the right was a little room, exactly the same size as the King's Chamber, but 40 feet up, with a ceiling probably 3 feet high. And then where that room went off, they had hewn a shaft out. There were 4 more chambers above that.
That's crazy.
But the only way to get up there was to get in that shaft that they had dug out, and like this, up there.
Yeah.
So, but there was no lights, of course. So I had an igloo cooler with a 12-volt battery and a searchlight, like you plug into your car, That was our lighting. And flashlights. So we didn't have the film camera that day. We only had the video camera. So we'd gone up there. Terry and I had gone up there. And we were filming, and we'd gone up to all the other chambers. We had a producer. His name was Boris. It was Boris's last name. He was a character. Boris Said. And Boris was like 67 then. And he was like you expected Indiana Jones type character to be,
Yeah.
But he was total. I mean, who knows where the money was going? And I mean, it was ridiculous. Boris was always wheeling, dealing. Boris is the first guy I met that believed it was better to ask forgiveness than permission. And so the next day, Terry and I are going up there again, but we have the film camera this time. And I start down the shaft to go to those rooms. I get about 20 feet down, bro, and I have the worst feeling in the world.
You had to take it down.
No. That would have been the second
That would have been
worst.
the other room.
That would have been the second worst. I just felt like something horrible was about to happen. It was weird. It was just.
And then Habib hit that frequency.
And exactly. And everybody behind me is like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Man, I just don't feel good." I said, "I just feel weird. I feel like," and Muhammad, our guide, is like, "We must leave. We must leave." And I'm like, "Wait. Give me a minute. No, we must go now." And I'm like, so I start back. I said, "Guys, I can't go in. Sorry." And they're like, "Okay, well, if you don't want to do it, we're not going to do it." So they're behind me, so they start backing out. I start backing out. I get about 5 feet back, and it goes away. I'm like,
feeling?
yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. So we stop, and I sit down for a little bit. I'm okay. And then we go ahead and we go in. But, man, I got to tell you, I was like, I was not going to go in there for about 10 minutes.
How about that? That was insane.
But, oh my God, I gemmed it.
You got into your story, and
but if you're looking for a place to travel to, and you've never been to Egypt,
I highly recommend it.
that's the number one place. I mean, for just amazing, you can't even fathom the size and the accuracy. I think the size of the Great Pyramid, like 1% off or something. What the fuck? We can't even build a building like that now.
So what were you watching on Ribbox?
Everything, every cop show that's been made.
Line of Duty.
Yes, because you made me.
Line of Duty's a good show.
It is a good show. The problem was, the bad guy in the first episode, I liked him.
Yeah.
And it almost made me stop watching the show.
It's the guy that played Morgan on The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Lenny. I can't
I can't
remember
remember his name.
Lenny.
But
Lenny
he's a
something.
great actor.
Great actor.
I liked him, and then he was the bad guy. Even though he was a bad guy by accident, kinda. It was hard for me to see him as a nemesis, and I have to really not like the nemesis.
Yeah.
Nemesis. But it was a great show. Lots of twists and turns. A little bit unrealistic at times. But I'm able to suspend that disbelief. None of them have fucking guns.
Yeah. We need an officer with a gun. We need a Glock-approved officer.
And
now.
And we need, what's it called, to get approval to do the you can't even send the cops with guns unless some commander signs off. Like the assistant chief of police. It's crazy.
Yeah, in the meantime, they're getting macheted.
Getting the shit shot up and macheted and knifed. And it was it's crazy because it's good to see what it's like in England, you know?
Yeah.
And
I bet it's worse now.
Shetland, I watched Shetland.
Shetland's great.
A great show.
Have you seen The Mummy?
The Mummy.
The Mummy with Brendan Fraser?
I worked on Scorpion King and the second or third one, I think. Oh, here we are. Beyond Paradise.
There you
Which
go.
came from Murder in Paradise, which was a great series. Let's see what else. If you like cop shows, bro, there's no better show than that show.
The one that's on BritBox called Blue Line. I think I sent you a trailer for it.
I think you did.
It's the UK cops who are stationed in Ireland.
Yeah, I have not watched that yet.
It's just, I still don't understand that whole dynamic. You know, what the why they hate them so much.
Because they're a separate country. But they're on the Ireland.
But at some point, somebody had to agree to let them in there.
Not really. Oh no, bro. You should know this if you know your history. England, fucking conquered the world. Scotland, Ireland.
They did.
That's why they hate them so bad. And there's some people out right now watching us, if there's anybody watching us, cringing, thinking, those Yanks, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But it's that's why they don't like them. Is because they kind of occupied them.
I'll have to ask my friend Irish Paul because he's from Ireland.
He can tell you. It's kind of like if we went into Mexico and took over Mexico.
He was a policeman in Ireland.
Well, then he'll be able to tell you all about
Well,
it.
he was pulled security in Iraq. He wrote a book, An Irishman in Iraq.
Really?
Yeah. A super nice guy.
What's your
really cool. Can't understand a word he says, but
what's your history?
love him to death.
Your origin?
Well, according to my DNA, my 23andMe, I'm 99% Western European and 1% Native American.
9%
What?
Native American.
All right.
Yeah, me and Elizabeth Warren.
It got a little weird.
Did it?
Now it's back to being okay, but for just a little bit.
Maybe you're just being a little weird. So this girl that I dated in Las Vegas, her stepdad, he was Mr. Italian. Everything about him was Italian. He wore the necklace with the little pepper on it. The Godfather was his favorite movies. He talked about his Italian heritage, blah, blah, blah.
Was he friends with Oscar Goldman in
I
Vegas?
don't know. Not Oscar Goldman. Oh, the mayor.
Goldman,
Is it Goldman?
I think.
I met Oscar.
Either that or I'm talking about the guy who
No. Oscars was the mayor.
Yeah, Oscar. I think it's Goldman.
Is it Goldman?
Goodman or Goldman? Goldman. Also was Steve Austin's handler, the $6 Million Man.
Really? So the kids gave him this 23andMe thing for Christmas or Ancestry.com or something. And it came back. And he was not fucking Italian. He was like 60-something. That had been his whole identity, his entire life.
He had culturally appropriated.
He had culturally appropriated that he was Italian.
It's Italian
And
heritage.
he wasn't Italian at all. I forget what he was.
That
Castilian
son of a
maybe?
bitch.
But it devastated him. He stopped speaking to his kids. It was wild.
So what do you think?
I think this is a great smoke.
I do too.
I haven't smoked a lot of EP Carrillos.
I have not either. In fact, I think this is probably my first.
We should go to the Big Smoke next year
Okay.
in Las Vegas.
All right.
You know what it's about?
The Big Smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of convention with cigar smokers.
And food and classes, and we should do that.
Classes?
Like
How to smoke a cigar?
Like Carlito will stand up and talk about,
Oh, okay.
the history, and Padron will,
They
and
come over there and we probably won't get in after they see how I like my cigar. Sorry, sir. But we do have a remedial lighting.
we have a room here in the basement for you and Justin Baldoni. The media is just crazy about shit like that.
Yeah.
That guy, he was going to be ruined. And then he found the right attorney.
Who's that?
Justin Baldoni. He's the guy that did the movie with Blake Lively.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And she accused him of sexual harassment.
She tried to Amber Heard him.
She tried to Amber Heard him. And then he got the right attorney. His attorney said, "Oh, really? Well, let's just put all of these receipts out there."
Blake Lively shit the bed.
It was where she invites him over to her trailer. "I'm pumping, but come over to my trailer and we'll discuss the script." And then she tried to say he came in unannounced.
Oh, and he came in there and she's like,
Yeah. Most people don't know we are quite the movie aficionados, Jim and I.
I know what I like.
What do you think Josh Brolin's best role has been?
Goonies.
This is what I have to live with. No Country for Old Men,
It's
or Sicario.
I'd have to say No Country for Old Men because that's the movie that made him. And he wouldn't have gotten Sicario without having been in No Country for Old Men.
That's probably true, but that's probably I have to.
And it's great because he shined.
Yeah.
He really did. I mean,
Yeah.
he nailed it. And every character in there was great. Benicio del Toro was creepy as hell in that, but I love him and everything else he's been in. He's been great. When he
You're
played
talking about Sicario?
No,
Well, he wasn't in.
Javier Bardem.
There we go. I was going to say,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you talking about?
Javier Bardem.
I guess all Hispanic
So
people
creepy.
look alike to you. Is that what you're telling me?
No, but it could be. They all sound alike. But he was great in that. There's a movie he was in called The Counselor. It was really good. It's had Something About Mary, the chick that was in Something.
Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, she's in it, and they're like, it's drug stuff going on, and it's just a shoot 'em up.
It was Javier's haircut in No Country for Old Men. It was like, that was,
man.
it takes a brave person to go through a whole movie with your hair looking like that.
Yeah, but that was a great movie. I just rewatched that a couple of weeks ago.
I did too.
It's still a good movie.
It's great. But I love Sicario
Yeah,
because that other guy you said,
Benicio del Toro. Oh, he's good too. And
Yeah.
he's funny. He's funny when he
Yeah.
wants to be. But that Sicario 1 and 2. Who's the guy that writes that? Taylor Sheridan.
he's the guy that did Yellowstone.
Yeah, and Mayor of Kingstown, which is great. And that, what's that, Land?
Oh, The Landman.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It's
He
great.
writes well.
He casts well.
Well, I haven't watched the last season. of
Billy
Yellowstone.
Bob Thornton.
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton's awesome.
Dude,
You remember when him and Angelina Jolie were married?
and they
were
wore a vial
swapping
of
each
blood
other's
around
blood?
each other's neck. And
It was all fun and games till Angelina stuck her tongue down her brother's throat at the Oscars. And Billy Bob's like, Whoa! Wait a damn minute.
Are you finished?
Yes.
No, you're not.
Wow,
You
look
can
at
burn
this.
some fingers, baby.
Oh, look at there. I haven't going out at all. This is a good one.
It's a great smoke.
It is.
Excellent smoke.
I think this
What's your
one-
favorite genre movie?
I'm a science fiction guy.
Oh, are you?
You know, and I saw Star Wars when I was 12. The original Star Wars. Han shot first.
Well, we'll see what Amazon does to Bond. It's over as far as I'm concerned.
Henry Cavill would make a great one.
Isn't that who
I
they?
think that's who they're. Him or Idris Elba.
I wanted Idris.
He's
That's
He's
that,
good.
that's who I wanted it to be, was Idris.
Yeah.
Have you seen Molly's Game?
I haven't. It's in my queue because you told me about it.
Dude, you've got to watch it. Jessica Chastain. Not only is she great in it, but she is on fire. I'm surprised she didn't just burst into flames. She's so hot. And she's a great actress. And my buddy Graham Green's in. I did a couple movies with Graham Green. You know that he was the
from
Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
I did a movie called. We shot it in Arizona. It was called.
Was it the detective movie?
No, it was.
Wasn't he in one called Thunderheart?
Stop it! I'll tell you this movie that I did. We shot it in Palms. We shot it in the retirement center there in Arizona. It's called Valley of the Sun. And Morris Chestnut from Saturday Night Live. It was about an old folks retirement center, and the old heavyset cowboy, bald-headed guy. He plays the father of this kid that had been a porn star, the number one male porn star. He has a nervous breakdown, so he moves back home. His dad, and his mom, they know he's an actor. They don't know he's a porn actor, so they go and get him out of the Louis bin, bring him home. He's trying to get his act back together. And all the old ladies in the retirement home recognize him. So they're all trying to hook up. They're all, because his dad has a plumbing service.
Yeah.
So they're all calling his dad for plumbing service because he's sending the son out. And they're all trying to seduce the son, you know? And
Plumber.
Morris Chestnut and Graham Greene, they live in the retirement center, and they're just waiting to die. And the kid is like, why are you just waiting to die? These women, they love you. About the two old guys, they just want to spend time with you and be with you, and they're both, they're like, no, we're, no one who would want to be with us, and so I spent a lot of time with Graham Greene because he's a cigar smoker, and we'd be out hanging out late at night.
That's cool.
And he's very cool. He and Morris Chestnut were, I think, ripped all the time. But yeah, he's the greatest. Anyway, he plays the judge in Molly's Game at the end, and he gives an amazing performance.
Dances with Wolves was a good one.
Oh, Tatanka.
Such a good movie. Yeah.
Everybody knew that was going to be a flop.
Like 3 hours long.
Everybody knew that was going to be a flop. Everybody just, and then it came out this 7 Academy Award winner or something.
Yeah, I remember going to see it at the theater. It's been a while since we had intermission at the movie theater.
That's right.
And they had intermission during that movie.
I think Braveheart had an intermission.
I didn't see it at the theater.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I thought it was over. He was running along that ridge line in the mountains. And then it was intermission, I think. What are some of your favorite movies, Jim? Oh, now, are you a Star Trek fan?
Oh, yes.
How do you think, what do you think about the recasting for the new series?
Now, which for the TV.
Chris Pine. No, Chris Pine.
Oh,
for those guys.
he's great. As Kurt. What's his name that plays Doc Boy? Is like spot on. He's so good.
They killed it. They killed the casting. And Scotty, you don't like him?
He's all right, but I watched him in that show Heroes.
Oh, you can't.
And he's just a little
Much.
a bit much. But Zoe Saldana, she plays
Uhura. And the guy they picked for Spock. I mean, they killed the casting.
And that Simon Pegg's good too.
Yeah.
Playing Scotty, he's good. But I don't one of the things I don't like in the new one is like, Simon Pegg's got that little whatever that little creature he's got or whatever. I don't like it. I don't think they need that. It's almost like
it's like a marketing tool.
When you were little and they had Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And then after you'd watch Scooby Doo for 10, 15 years, then they came out, he had to have Scrappy Doo.
Oh, no,
I didn't watch that for that. They don't need a comic relief.
Yeah.
Just.
Have you seen Hot Fuzz with Simon Pegg?
Yes. Hot Fuzz. Him and his buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever pointed your gun in the air and fired it and gone, ah? That's the guy from Full Monty, right?
I think so, yeah.
See, there's so many great British movies and shows. And because I'm a true crime guy, a crime show guy, all of the Norwegian and Finnish and all of those crime shows and movies
are just... Have you seen The Fall? It's got the chick from X-Files.
The redhead?
Yeah.
Jillian something?
Yeah. She plays the detective, and I think it's maybe 5 or 6 episodes, but they're long episodes. And it's great. This dude, the way he kills it's just creepy as hell. And the cat and mouse throughout the whole thing, and she's good. Gillian Anderson. And she's American, but she plays that British part so well. It's really good.
Really?
It's good because I'm like, is she British in real life? But the character, the way it's written, the story is great. It's real good. And the killing, have you seen that?
No.
It's good. Real good. That lady, the guy that was in it, he's ended up doing RoboCop remake.
Really?
But
I don't know how you
the redheaded girl that plays the lead detective on the killing, she's got a weird. She was in Hannah. They did a remake of Hannah,
right?
The series, and she's in that. But she's good. That show was good. That's a good cop show. So what do you rate it?
It's definitely amazing. So, I mean, it's a 9 for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a 9. Let's say 9.5. 9.5 puff.
And it's got plenty of power.
Yeah.
Not for the lighthearted, that's for sure.
No, but it's that one little spot, which might have been me, but then it went away.
Well, you can tell we wandered all over the place in our conversation today. And so obviously we don't have any kind of a plan for our format or for our subject matter. No. Just two guys smoking cigars, bullshitting like, it's the best thing ever. And that's what cigar smoking is all about. Thanks for joining us. Who knows what will happen next week? I keep looking at the monitor out there thinking that this is a pumpkin. But it's a globe, right?
It's the bar.
The bar. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hollywood.
I'm Jim.
We'll see you next week on
You say it.
Smoked